What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another video. So Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch has been out for a little less than a week now, and I've been playing the game pretty much non-stop because it's amazing and I love it, and I think it's a fantastic addition to the Super Smash Bros. Series, and I think it might be my all-time favorite Super Smash Bros. Game. So it's very cool to finally have a new addition to the series, and one that actually lives up to the legacy that is Smash Brothers. So very fun, very cool. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about the game and actually go over my top 3 main characters that I love to use for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, I have to say, this is my main list as of right now, although I can confirm that definitely one will pretty much be one of my mains that I will use throughout my time playing this game for many years to come. So that one will definitely be within the top main spots. But there may be some fluctuation between a few of these different characters, and again, I might even add some as the game progresses throughout its life. And maybe take some away, or maybe even some of them might be totally different, a year from now. So I do want to mention that. I want to make sure I mention that, obviously, that my main list will most likely continue to change as I play the game and as I experiment with different characters, as well as the DLC characters that are going to be coming out. We already know about Piranha Plant that will be coming, most likely, I think in February. I think they said something like that. And then Joker from Persona 5, which is crazy to think about, but he will be in the game as well. So, and then of course some other DLC characters that will be coming to the game as well. So this list is definitely going to change, but as of right now, these are the 3 main characters that I really enjoy using the most in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the list. We'll go ahead and go backwards, so we'll start with 3, go to 2, and go to 1. So my third favorite main currently within Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has to be Bowser Jr. I played with Bowser Jr. quite a bit in Smash 4. I didn't really use him a ton, but what I love about Bowser Jr. is just his moveset. He's very fast. I mean, he's not the fastest character in the game, but he's got a decent speed to him. Just his movements are very fluid. I like how he moves. I like how he plays. I like how he fights. All these different kinds of things. So movement is a pretty big factor with that, which will be kind of interesting when we talk about my last choice, and I'll again sort of talk about that as the video goes on. But I just like how he moves. I like how he moves about the stage, how his different attacks are sort of implemented, and sort of the movement speed with them. I think it's very cool. I like how how those different movement speeds work together with each other. And just his attacks. I really enjoy his attacks. And what's really cool about Bowser Jr. in particular is each attack is very different. Of course, you've got your just regular attack, you've got your smash attacks, you've got your tilt attacks, you've got your air and nair and all these different kinds of things as well. But each one is different. So if you use his dash attack, for example, a Saw Blade comes out, which is very cool. And again, this is very similar to Smash 4, but I, for some reason, like using him a little bit more in this game. But so anyway, his forward dash brings out a Saw Blade, which is kind of cool. Down smash are 2 sort of wrecking balls, 2 cannonballs, which is very cool. Up smash is the propeller on the bottom. He kind of flips himself upside down, does a headstand or a handstand, and we'll use that. He's also got the cannonball that shoots out with his B attack, and then of course the bombs with down B. Just all of his moves are very different. They're very unique. There's not one, certain characters, they kind of have the same moves, they're just sort of done in a different way, and that's absolutely fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something about Bowser Jr. and his moveset, as well as the different attacks and how he uses those different attacks in battle, is just very interesting and very satisfying. So it's just a lot of fun. He's just a fun character to use. Like I said, I love his move speed. I love how all of his attacks are kind of different. Each one kind of does its own different thing, which is very interesting. And they all work differently, as I keep saying as well. So you've got the cannonballs, you've got the propellers, you've got the saw blades. Even his forward tilt is a fork, which is kind of funny. It's just really unique and interesting. And I love how he plays, and I love the move sets. And just it seems like he's a very strong character as well. He's not really a pushover. He's not a heavyweight. He's not a lightweight. I think he's generally classified as a middleweight. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. But again, I just like his attacks and his movement speed, and I feel like his playstyle kind of fits my playstyle in that I like to move around a lot. I like to do, you know, tilt attacks. I like to, you know, do combos with them with tilt attacks and smash attacks. And his smash attacks are very powerful to pull off, and they're fairly fast as well. So as of right now, Bowser Jr. is my third main player that I like to use in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He's very fun, very cool character. Yeah, so Bowser Jr. There you go. So next, moving on to number 2, is a character that has several different variations, especially going all the way back to Melee, but because they all kind of sort of play similarly to one another. But this one is a little bit different in a couple of aspects. And that would be Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakening. He's my second main that I love to use in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I actually really enjoy using the Fire Emblem characters. I've always used them pretty extensively ever since Melee, when Marth and Roy were in that game as well. And I just, again, I like using the sword fighters. I know a lot of people have different opinions about the sword fighters, especially the ones from Fire Emblem, that some people think that there's just too many of them. I can kind of understand that as well, and again, a lot of them are kind of similar with their movesets and how they play and everything like that. But I still enjoy playing with them. I enjoy using them. I use Roy quite a bit. Corrin, definitely. I really enjoy using Corrin, but there's something about Chrom in his moveset. I would say he's probably the fastest Fire Emblem character within the game. I don't really play Lucina too much, so she might be the fastest. I don't entirely know, but I do know that Chrom does have a very good sense of speed about him, and I really enjoy that. He seems like Chrom is kind of a mix between Roy and Ike, I would say. It seems like he's got the speed of Ike, but perhaps, well, maybe he's not as, the speed of Roy, maybe he's not as strong as Ike, but definitely his up B is basically a carbon copy of Ike's up B, which is kind of interesting and kind of cool. So it's not the greatest recovery in the game, but when you're kind of surrounded by a few other players, if you're doing a free-for-all, let's say, it kind of is a nice way to kind of clear out sort of that space there and kind of what's going on. But I just enjoy his speed, and it's kind of interesting because because my top 3 mains are kind of really different from one another, but I think I enjoy kind of incorporating those different kind of play styles. So having characters that are kind of vastly different from one another can be kind of interesting, and you can kind of cover all of your bases. But I really enjoy Chrom's sense of speed. He runs very fast, a lot of his attacks are very quick. He is kind of similar to Marth as well, with just sort of the speed aspect and different things like that. But there's just something about his playstyle that I prefer over, let's say, Marth and Roy, for example. There's just something about him that I really enjoy using. And of course, he's brand new to the series and to this game in particular, so it's kind of interesting to see another take on sort of that classic Fire Emblem Smash Bros. Formula, or I guess format of play style. And it's really interesting, I really enjoy it, and I think Chrom is going to continue to be a character that I really use throughout my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game time, and it's just very cool. So Chrom, definitely number 2, really enjoy his playstyle, really enjoy the speed, and of course his attacks are quite powerful as well. You know, when you hold down B, you've got that standard charge up attack. He has that same stance that Roy has when he charges it up. And I just really enjoy how he's kind of a combination of all the Fire Emblem characters together within one, which is very cool and what I really, I think, enjoy the most about Chrom. So Chrom, definitely number 2 as of the time of this recording, but definitely I will definitely continue to use Chrom throughout the time that I play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So now we've come to number 1, my main that I've pretty much used quite a bit through Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And this is one that I've always kind of dabbled with ever since he was introduced in Melee, and it's one that I didn't quite use so much in Brawl, but I definitely did quite a bit within Smash 4, and ultimately, again, within Ultimate as well. I don't know if that was grammatically correct, but I said it anyway, so there you go. But my number 1 main for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has to be Ganondorf. And what I particularly love about Ganondorf is his immense power. I believe he is the 3rd heaviest character in the game, with Bowser being 1 and King K. Rool being number 2. And I've always enjoyed kind of using the heavier characters in Smash Bros. I remember going back to Melee, I believe Captain Falcon was kind of considered a heavy in that game. Again, I might be wrong with that, but a lot of his attacks were very powerful, but he was also very fast. And then going to Brawl, I used Ike quite a bit. I really enjoyed using Ike. I still do, obviously. Certainly I do. And then, of course, Snake was also a very prominent heavy within Brawl. But, of course, Snake wasn't really in Smash 4, and so I was like, oh, I kind of want to use another heavy character to kind of fill that void, I guess. And, again, like I said, I used to play Ganondorf in Melee every so often. He wasn't really considered a main back in the day when I played that, but I did enjoy using him, and I did enjoy his moveset. But they made a lot of really cool changes to Ganondorf in Ultimate. In Smash 4, it was, again, his Twilight Princess style, I guess, so a lot of his attacks were, of course he looked like the Twilight Princess Ganondorf, but a lot of his attacks were very different. And in Smash 4, they really did a good job of sort of changing how he plays and sort of his movements. In this game, he is quite a bit faster, which is very cool and which I really enjoy. And probably the most important, or I guess important change to Ganondorf in this game, aside from his now Ocarina of Time appearance making a comeback, he now uses a sword for all of his smash attacks, which is very cool. So bottom smash attack looks very similar to Cloud, where he kind of goes side to side, front and back, and then the side smashes are very similar to Ike, where the giant sword just kind of comes down like that. And then also the up smash, very similar to Ike, where there's kind of a sweeping arc, kind of a sweeping motion like that. As opposed to Smash 4, where he just kind of kicked his legs straight up in the air. This one has a little bit more area that kind of goes around, more area of attack, I guess. I don't really know a lot of the technical terms with Smash, so I apologize if I'm just butchering a lot of this stuff. So hopefully you guys can forgive me with that. But I just really enjoy the changes that they made to Ganondorf. He's still a huge powerhouse. A lot of his attacks are still very intense. I believe his jab, just the standard A attack, I think does like 15% damage or something like that. It's crazy. And of course, he is still slow, but he does move a little bit faster within this game as well. And so I feel like I like to gravitate towards more towards the heavier characters within Smash, and I really enjoy that. And Ganondorf is definitely a very heavy character, a very strong character, very powerful. And I sort of like having that ability to just do a lot of damage with sort of one hit. And I know a lot of people kind of enjoy the faster characters where they can kind of move around, do some crazy acrobatic things and different things like that. And I enjoy that too. But for me, there's something I enjoy about having just a straight, slow, lumbering powerhouse. And Ganondorf doesn't really lumber in this game. He is quite a bit faster than he was in Smash 4. So I think kind of combining all those different aspects together really makes Ganondorf, for me, my main character that I really enjoy using the most. I love, like I said, his smash attacks. His down B is pretty much unchanged from the other iterations of Smash. He's got that leg kick, and then of course his side B is very nice as well. So kind of comboing the side B within the down tilt is very good. I enjoy doing that as well. And then of course his up B is it has remained unchanged from before, where if you get a hold of someone, you can grab them, kind of shake them, and shock them, and they'll kind of go flying, and you get to do that up B move again, which is very nice as well. So he still has a lot of the same attacks that he's always had. It's just his smash attacks, I think, are quite a bit better now, as opposed to just one singular point that he used to do with the side smashes and the up smashes. There's more of an area of effect, or an area of attack, I guess, is a good way to say it. So that's a very nice welcome change. And then he is, of course, faster. He does run a bit faster. He's a little bit quicker in his attacks and different things like that. And I just like his playstyle. I'm not really one to use a lot of projectiles. I will, of course, from time to time, but I really enjoy in Smash getting up to someone and just sort of, punching them and hitting them and different things like that. I'm very close quarters combat, or CQC, in terms of Smash. And I think Ganondorf is probably one of the best characters to really implement that sort of play style, and it's one that I really enjoy. So, yeah, those are my three mains for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We've got Bowser Jr., we've got Chrom, and we've got Ganondorf as my main guy. So, what I want to know is what you guys have to say with your mains. Who are your mains, or who is your just one main that you guys have in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Do you have one or two? Do you have a few of them? And which ones are they? Of course, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And it's very cool to have a fighting game with so many different characters, with so many different play styles, that you can really adopt and just sort of choose who you want to play as and what kind of play style you want. And it's very cool to see what other people have to say as well, because a lot of the people I play online with, they say they can't use Ganondorf at all, which is kind of, interesting for me, because I think he's one that for me is fairly straightforward and fairly simple, I guess, but can be kind of difficult to master and different things like that. But a lot of the characters that they use, I can't really use. So it's interesting to see just kind of that dynamic and how certain people can use a certain character while others, well, I shouldn't say can't, but they find other characters more comfortable than others, which is kind of interesting to see. And again, having a roster of 74 fighters so far is pretty cool to kind of go through and see which ones work for you and which ones potentially don't. So, like I said, I want to know what you guys think of my mains in Smash. Do you agree with, or not agree with them, but do you is your list somewhat similar? Again, what characters do you use? Which ones do you love to use the most? Is your main new to the series? Are they a veteran of the series? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And I hope you guys are enjoying Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's a great game. I really enjoy it. Ton of fun. I love playing online with my friends. It's a blast, and it's a great game. And it's, like I said, another great addition to the Smash Bros. Series. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care.